lecture on robotics in complex spine surgeries. So I only can say that spine surgery has evolved from conventional to MIS to navigation and now robotic spine, like how everybody knows we went from map to GPS to live GPS, and scan, plan and execute is the way in which the robot works. So we did start Manipal Institute of Robotic Spine Surgery in 2023, and so far we have done 1000 plus robotic spine surgeries, and we have the highest series of cervical spine as of today and done robotically. And I'll give you a few of the examples that I have done. So this is a 6-year-old girl with L5 hemivertebra segmented fully, and robot helped us to plan and put pedicle screws in L4 to S1, and additionally a trajectory for doing a hemivertebrectomy and inserting a cage, and good sagittal and coronal balance and child walking after 6 hours of surgery. I'll have to rush a little for the sake of time. A female with Down syndrome, 47° at 6 years of age. Growth rod insertion was planned, upper screws and lower screw planning, and you can get these tiny pedicles to negotiate almost easily 4.5 mm screws in the thoracic and 5.5 mm screws in the lumbar. Good sagittal and coronal balance. A 5-year-old child in 2018 underwent growth rod, serial distractions till 24, and we did the final fusion using robotic assistance and in 6 hours child walking. Another child, 11-year-old with Klippel-Fleel syndrome, occipital meningomyelocele and proximal thoracic scoliosis. She had a double major atypical curve. CT showed fused cervical and fused thoracic spine with the only disc open was C7T1, webbed neck and chin on chest deformity. Intubation, we had the spine anesthesiologists who are a new specialty that we have 4 consultants which helped us to get this child ready, and we did the first spin for T3 to T10 and second spin from T11 to L3 and a good sagittal and coronal restoration. Kept NIV for 2 days and the child was mobilized immediately after surgery. Home after 2 days. 17-year-old girl with progressive scoliosis, severe rib hump and respiratory failure, 168 and 122° curves, proximal thoracic curve was 80°. CT shows the severity and rib crowding. Technically becomes difficult to segment these children's vertebrae, and scan and plan workflow is challenging and very difficult to actually execute. And visualization of adjacent segments makes it easier. Second scan was done for placing lower screws, and you get all trajectories could not be performed because of severity and inaccessibility of the trajectory to through the robotic arm, as the rib hump was coming in the way of the trajectory. But the goal of surgery was to act as an internal splint, like Dr. Rajshekharan says, and improve pulmonary function. Patient placed in NIV for 2 days and mobilized after first day. Another 15-year-old girl, progressive rigid lumbar 4C curve, 130, 120°. O-arm spin for T2 to L4, 2 spins, good alignment. Tried to preserve the lower lumbar discs. Cervicothoracic dystrophic kyphoscoliosis in neurofibromatosis child. Severe angular curve of 110°, dystrophic curve, CT scan you can see here. First scan C3 to T5 pedicle screws were possible easily in the cervical spine on the concave side, and the convex side cervical pedicles were deformed and ill developed and had to be abandoned from instrumentation. Second scan from T5 to T12 and you get restoration of coronal and sagittal balance, and we used SpineVidya's C-Tech system, which is our innovative thing, using 5.5 mm rods for cervical and 15-year-old boy, Lenki 5C curve, lumbar curve measuring 55°, and robotic T12 to L4 was planned, O-arm scan, and then this is the first time that we tried to do an anterior instrumentation using robotic guidance. The apical thing is very easy, but the end vertebrae is difficult to instrument. And we achieved a good coronal and sagittal balance at the end of surgery. 18-year-old female with left flank scarring due to previous burns and neglected Lenki 5 scoliosis with Cobb angle of 73°, quite rigid. Lumbar implantation trajectories is easy, but After anterior screws, getting posterior screws is difficult, and we could do this easily using robotic assistance. 68-year-old lady with 70-degree lumbar scoliosis, and we could put 2 iliac screws as shown, and we published our technique of S2LR iliac screws in JNS spine. 54-year-old male, operated in 21, failed in 11 months. Rod exchange with additional concave rod at the apex. Both rods broke after 3 years and breathless again. This time using robotic guidance, we could plan and execute periapical instrumentation to reduce the cantilever forces on the rods. Revised with robotic assistance, and he is still doing well after 1 year. 12-year-old boy with severe kyphosis, congenital and rigid kyphosis, and we could get the implantation of screws, and then we did PVCR using navigated burr along with this, but we had to rescan after the implantation of one-sided rod, and good correction of another operated meningomyelocele with lumbosacral kyphosis as shown. We did a kyphectomy and dual iliac screws and did the correction. Failed back syndrome with surgical site infection and loose implants. Revision, you can plan different trajectories in the same vertebrae that were infected and having a loose screw, and final radiographs. Another high grade spondylolisthesis. I am getting you few of the complex cases for completion's sake. We can plan L5S1. L5 screws are more difficult, and you can easily do percutaneously in these cases, and you could get a near perfect reduction of kyphosis at the lumbosacral junction. 64-year-old lady with failed conservative treatment for insufficiency fracture sacrum, dual balloon sacroplasty, and this was published by us in the Indian Spine Journal. And also we published our report on advantages of robotic kyphoplasty over fluoroscopic guidance recently. A 3-week-old crush injury with amputation of left leg and right-sided vertical sacral unstable fracture. We did percutaneous iliosacral screws, robotic assistance using our technique, and now we have published the same with 3 cases. Ankylosing spondylitis with fracture dislocation of C6-7. We did cervicothoracic C-TEC system that we have the Make in India project using robotic guidance. Myeloradiculopathy, robotic planning of cervical pedicle screws. Only the we could do pedicle screws easily, and these are the 2 of our publications on cervical pedicle screw insertions using MIS sleeve technique, and another one using custom instruments. Another C1-2 dislocation and C1 screw plan, C2 screw plan, and post-op X-rays. Another case with occipitocervical fusion that we have done. And we published our 750 cases reports, and then we had another study which revealed robot will neutralize experience factor, and another study which proved no learning curve for surgeons, and fatigue factor doesn't affect the outcomes. In summary, technology and technique definitely helps, but indications and principles of surgery remains unchanged. If patients and doctors don't understand this, I think technology is here to hurt both. Embrace and engage technology responsibly. Be patient. Trainees, I suggest, like Rishikanna said, that they have to learn old and new ways. I don't know how. And it's always very important to understand patient first attitude. I think right now we are in an era wherein we are living a spine surgeon's dream. You could do scoliosis pedicle screw instrumentation as shown in the left side, and cervical pedicle screws as shown in the right side of the screen. Thank you one and all for patient listening.